Going on, dudes and dudettes? So a 2025 number 2 overall player on the women's basketball side in high school did commit to USC. Her name is Jazzy Davidson. I think it said it's either she's a combo guard or a small forward. Either way, she's going to be playing multiple positions at USC and at least going to get 1 year with Juju Watkins. Like I said, I don't know if they have to stay 3 years or 4 years in college, but next year when she comes to the team, it'll be Juju's 3rd year, so we'll see how many more years she'll get to play with the big-time star in Watkins. But yeah, definitely a big-time get. Number 2 overall player. It's not that bad to get at all, especially with the type of talent they bring in through the transfer portal too, so not mad about it at all. And then, yes, excuse me, you are all here because what happened over the weekend? Yes, USC did lose 27-24 to Michigan. They even had the lead at one point. I didn't get to see the game fully, but yeah, watching the highlights finally a couple days later, they kind of beat themselves. They had chances to win here and there, but a lot of things did go wrong. I'll read you some of my notes. So yeah, they definitely should have won, like I said, but the offensive line looked really bad. They were just giving up too many negative plays with the quarterback and running game. There was a lot of bad calls against USC and not a lot of bad calls against Michigan. There was hardly any fouls called against Michigan for some weird reason. And then there were like 3 big plays that the USC defense did give up, which led to scores. But of course, there were no fouls called against Michigan, even though there were clear fouls of holding and all this other stuff, hands to the face, that they should have called. Even the tight end Lake McCree and the wide receiver Mekhi Lemon were injured during the game. McCree's looked pretty bad, but it looks like he will be back sooner than Lemon. Lemon did go to the hospital right after the game or at some point during the game because I think it was like a concussion protocol type of thing, but he was able to fly back with the team, so he's at least good there, but don't expect him for a couple weeks as well. But yeah, I guess the only positive thing is that the nation sees that USC did come to fight, and we're still, I think they only moved back 2 spots in the rankings to number 13. So, yes, an unlucky number, but hopefully USC can move up after their win against Wisconsin this weekend coming up, who is still a good team, even though they're struggling and lost their top transfer quarterback to a season-ending injury. So, it's going to be a tough game either way, because they do still have some players, and Luke Fickell is a really good head coach, in my opinion. So hopefully USC, they're playing back at home, they will be able to step up against another Big Ten team, because they stepped up against pretty much one of the best ones last week and had the lead and almost beat them too. So hopefully they will be able to control this team a little bit more and, try to fight on the rest of the schedule, because it's going to be a tough one, but definitely very happy, at least a little bit more happier a couple days after the game. At first, it was just kind of like, didn't even know it was going down till the end. And then, of course, you're just like hoping for the best. Obviously, it went best for USC in week 1 or 0 against LSU. And then now it went against them. They lost a close one against a good team. So hopefully it swings back in the right way. But yeah, not a really good weekend for some of my teams. But I'll get into that in another video. And one of the brighter spots from the defense, obviously Eric Gentry, the linebacker, went off. He was really awesome. I think he's like top 1 or 2 in a lot of PFF grades this week. But even the cornerback / safety, Jalen Smith, stepped up, and I think he was like PFF Team of the Week or something like that. And then when it comes to their PFF grades of like the most coverage, highest grade or something like that, he was number 4 on that list, so that was good to see. So at least these guys are stepping up and stepped up against some good competition. So a little bit less competition this week, so hopefully they can shine out on defense once again. And then Miller Moss, I think FanDuel Sportsbook did an update on their Heisman odds, and he's still ranked up there, at least at the number 10 spot, like betting odds to win the Heisman or something like that. So that's pretty cool. He did have an okay game numbers-wise, but obviously could have been a lot better. And, Lincoln Riley's to blame for it too, because they should have been running the ball instead of doing some dumb passes. They would have left less time for Michigan on that final drive for them. But either way, a loss is a loss. Got to move on, right? And then their punter, Eddie Chaplitsky, who was that transfer from ASU last year, I believe he leads the nation in his punting average when it comes to total yards and the average yards as well per punt. So that was pretty cool. And then that 4-star linebacker, Madden, for Emu, the California linebacker, did say pretty recently that USC has been checking a lot of his boxes that he has for certain criteria to meet for these teams. So hopefully they've checked enough for him to commit to them pretty soon. I forget exactly when his commitment date is going to happen, but hopefully it is Cardinal and Gold, and he's saluting fight on for the Trojans. So it looks like Reggie Bush is looking to sue all of the USC, NCAA, and the Pac-12 for his name, image, and likeness. I guess since he hasn't been at USC, or even if it's for the fact of while he was at USC, I don't think it really matters because he wasn't, this whole idea of being able to make money, it kind of stemmed from him or his family taking something. But I mean, I don't think he could really try to get some compensation for while he was playing and all that stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like everything looked good. He was getting his Heisman back and all this good stuff, but I guess he is really going through with some of this crazy suing stuff against even USC. So I guess we can't assume he's going to run the team out for one of these big games at home coming up this season, but hopefully the next couple years whenever this litigation is done. And then Sam Darnold, ex-USC quarterback, who's playing for Minnesota right now and doing very well. They're undefeated, and he's doing pretty good. I think he leads the NFL right now with 8 touchdowns throwing the ball, which is really cool. I think he has like 657 yards passing as well, which does help me because I have Justin Jefferson, his top wide receiver. So yeah, it's been doing some good stuff for me in fantasy football. Hopefully you saw that short, or whether it happened before this video or it's going up right after on Wednesday. But yeah, either way, still very good for me. And yeah, congrats to him on this great immediate success so far. And I don't know how many years he's been in the NFL so far, but Minnesota has definitely been the best spot for him as of right now. And I think Andrew Voorhees, ex-USC offensive lineman for Baltimore, I think I had talked about him starting earlier this year, but this last game against Dallas, he didn't allow like 0 tackles or hurries or sacks or pressures, anything like that towards his quarterback. But I heard in that game they ran the ball quite a bit, and Lamar Jackson, who is my quarterback for fantasy, only threw like maybe less than 15 times. So it's kind of hard to even get Lamar Jackson on the ground in the first place. But the running game was working so well for him and the other running backs. I guess they just kept running the ball, which is why his numbers look so well, I guess. But either way, still going to take the victory for my ex-USC Trojan. And yes, congrats to my younger cousin, Jacob Paisano, leading Hart High School in the Valley to a victory over Golden Valley. I think it was like 34-14. He was pretty much the player of the game, had 2 touchdowns from what I remember. I know he threw, that first score was like a big time, like 82 plus yards, something like that, pass for a touchdown, and then he ran another score in as well after that. So yeah, his team did really good. I think they are 4-1 on the season, which is nice, and he has a really high QB rating too as of right now. So he's a junior playing quarterback there, so hopefully he has a nice junior campaign and gets some nice offers from colleges heading into his senior season. So congrats, bro. Yes, a top 25, like our top 20 overall 2025 player. His name is Tiandu Yeso Ufo'u, and it looked like he put USC in his final 3 the other day, but it's been so long since I got that picture. And then just the other day, I think yesterday or something like that, he said that he's going to be announcing like October 3rd, which is coming up pretty soon, within about a week or so. So hopefully USC did enough to be in it, not only in his final 3, but to get his commitment to coming up soon. So looking forward to that. And the men's basketball did release their full schedule. I think we talked about last week or so their non-conference schedule, but their Big Ten conference schedule is pretty tough. They have a pretty tough stretch in there once it starts. I think they play against Michigan to start it off, and then they have to play against Indiana, which is a tough team. Illinois, a good team. Iowa is a good team in the Big Ten. Wisconsin, another good team. Nebraska is okay here and there. Obviously, they have to play against UCLA. Then Michigan State, another good Big Ten team. Northwestern is pretty good. And Purdue as well. So, yeah, tough stretch for them, like, once the Big Ten starts. But that's what it is. It's going to be good football matches every week, and then it's going to be good basketball matches, too. So, a lot different than the Pac-12, but definitely looking forward to seeing how USC goes in this new Big Ten conference. And then the women's Big Ten was released as well. I don't really know that many teams on the women's side. When it comes to the Big Ten, I know it's like maybe Iowa, of course, but they don't have Caitlin Clark anymore. And I don't even know if they have their head coach anymore. I could be wrong. But like Ohio State, I always know is pretty good. But other than that, I'm sure I'm missing a couple of these Big Ten schools on the women's side. But either way, hopefully USC is one of the top teams once the Big Ten conference tournament comes around. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Gotta most likely take a dump right now. So this is going to be a pretty quick, fast reading of certain stats and real quick. So enjoy the rest of this video. When it came to the women's volleyball team, yes, they did have a victory. I forgot the names of the teams, but they won the last 3 straight, 3-2, 3-1, and 3-1 as well. So congrats to them. And then also they had a Big Ten setter of the week, and Mia Tuaniga. It's one of their older players. And then freshman of the week went to Jaden Livings as well. So congrats to both those ladies. Then the soccer women's team did beat Purdue 1-0 and Indiana 2-0. So I believe that was Big Ten play, some of their first games. So congrats to them on getting some of those victories. I'm sure they're still a ranked team out there, one of the top teams. So congrats once again. And then House of Victory did sign 2 beach volleyball players on the women's side. First one was Maya Gessner and Zoe Henson. So yes, congrats to both of those ladies being able to make money under your own name, image, and likeness. It's what it is right now in college sports. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye.